Hello and welcome to Everyday Everyday with an Angel. I'm here to help you do your work. I'm Natasha. I'm Natasha Venter. I'm an intuitive medium, and I'm checking in with some things here because my Wi-Fi on the or other places are not necessarily negotiating well. So sorry about this. And my kitten is in the room here, so I'm going to have to put him out here soon. So, welcome everyone here to my show. Today's show is going to be about rewriting our story. You know what? Today is just an amazing moment. So, to go back over this, because I'm just running from one thing to another here, so I apologize if I'm a little disembarked here. And on Instagram, I'm not going to allow anybody on my show here. This is part of my dance. So, if you would like to make a good comment, make a good comment. So with that, thank you everybody for being here. I'm Natasha Venter. I'm a multi-life intuitive. I am one who is a past life seer of and energy seer. I also do mediumship. I also am one who brings in a lot of different dimensions at the story of we are. Right. So a lot of us are going through a lot of things that we're not necessarily knowing how to walk forward and rewriting our story. You know, we all have a chance to have a new opportunity every day to rewrite a story, right? We can write anything we want. It's a blank page. So, what do we want to do with this? Right? What do we want to be with this? What do we want to have a story? And if you hear some jingling in the background, that is my kitten adding a little bit of stirring up of energy. He's been amazing. I finally got a four-legger who really wants to sit with me and be with me. I am just so grateful. I fostered a cat came into my life that, she was amazing. Miss Ava was amazing, but yet, her feralness kind of took over. And what she taught me, every animal, here's a story. Every animal that we have has a reason to be in our lives, right? Well, my little Ava, she taught me how to stand on my own 2 feet. I was hoping and expecting, yes, those expectations. We all have expectations in life, right? We all have expectations about what we're doing. And this is about rewriting our story, right? We all have expectations. Hello on Instagram. We all have um, we all have these expectations about how our life should go. Does it ever go the way we want it to, right? No, it doesn't. And so there is the trick with life is it's not necessarily how do we rewrite our story, but we have to let go of those expectations. Not necessarily that we don't have wants, desires, and needs to do, right? Have them, deal with them, negotiate them. But the expectations, it has to be this way. It has to go this way, right? Hi, Veronica. Um, it's that dance of where we're at and what we're doing. And, going into this, that, the expectations have strong boundaries on it. It's like, I want to see my world in this direction, right? No, it's not about seeing our life here. It's about opening up to where we want. So as we're rewriting our story and as we're negotiating our world, we have to go into it's almost like the mind wants to take over what we want. And no, we have to feel and we have to get down into everything when we want to rewrite our story. We have to come down into our knowings. And when we come down into what we feel, what we understand, and what we can do, our pages are blank. We have an opportunity. Even if we've started our day, we have the opportunity to rewrite our story. And that means practice makes better. We're perfectly imperfect. Our story is our story, right? What are we going to do with this here? Who are we? Now, when we rewrite our story, doesn't mean that we have to change who we are all the way, right? We have these core parts of us. But I'm going to tell you that, like my husband always said, Natasha, you're not the same woman I married, right? I've rewritten my story. People cannot believe that I was so shy and quiet that I would not speak in a group of people, in a room full of people. I would not speak. Can you believe that in me? I've rewritten my story, right? How can we do this? I had to practice over all these years to rewrite that story because I had the mantra that came to me one year, long couple of years ago. How I perceive myself is how others perceive me. And, when we're going through this dance and when we're going through this story, how do I perceive myself? Well, many of us perceive ourselves by the way that everybody else has told us, right? And, our mind wants to think that things should be a certain way. Our minds want us to negotiate things in a certain way. But that's not the way to negotiate it in many ways. We have to come from this part of us, this feeling part of us, this knowing part of us to get ourselves into our story of rewriting. We can't just say, and it's done, right? It's that practicing to do better. It's about feeling those emotions. It's about getting insights into those stories, into that darkness. Right? How do these things make us feel, right? And, it's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. Emotions aren't good or bad, right? They are what they're meant to be, feelings. And when we have these feelings about life, it's a great teller to, should we do this or not, right? So going in and rewriting our story, it's coming down into, hi, Tabitha. It's coming into this deeper part of us. Now, a lot of us have been brought up into different knowings, right? Into these different knowings. Siblings that called us stupid. Aunts and uncles that didn't think we were smart enough to do anything because we were teenagers, right? How many of us were told as teenagers, you don't know anything, you haven't lived life yet, right? Well, the part of that is true, but we take it to heart. We take it to the depth of what we are, that I don't know anything. And those are those little whispers that keep whispering to us somewhere in our understanding, right? And like the language that is coming to me lately through other people and other stories, right, is our nervous system, right? Our nervous system is in fear and flight a lot of times. Our nervous system has been in story. Our nervous system has been in depletion and less than, right? So getting down into how are we? Many of us work up in here in the upper chakras, right? We get these inspirations, we get these knowings, but it's hard to get them down into it. We get it. It's hard to get down into the, my kitten is having fun. Getting down, oops, just a second. The toenails are caught. Oh, there we go. I'm going to put him out. Just a minute. Sorry about this. Rocky, come here. Come here. Come here, you little boy. Come here, you little boy. There you go. Okay, sorry about that. Oops, didn't mean to do that to you. It's called life, right? Isn't that what's called life? How are we writing our life? Right? This kitten is stirring up my pot. And that's what we need to do, is stir things up. I've always said, change your environment, change your world, right? Well, being a feng shuiist, yes, I'm not a minimalist, but there's purposeness, right? So rewriting my story, I had to go in. And, there's a lot of this stuff when we're rewriting our story, um, a kitten, yes. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for being here. That, who are we? And, in order to rewrite my story, we had to start doing things. Many of us in our environment, our world around us, we have these things that do not inspire us, right? Um, we have these items that, maybe my book of Ganesh, my Oracle cards of Ganesh, which I haven't used since I got them, really. What are they doing? They're just sitting, right? So could somebody else use them better than me? Maybe, right? So that getting rid of these things, hi Scott, getting rid of these stories that hold us back, clothes that we hold on, that we wear, that are from 30 years ago, right? That it's okay to visit those moments in our time. If we want to rewrite our story, it's okay. But do we always wear those clothes? No, because if we want to change our world, we have to change our environment. That's one of the things, right? Shift up what we have around us. My girlfriend gave me those butterfly, right? And I have them as I walk into this room. I see them from my other parts of my house. I see these wonderful butterflies here. What does butterfly mean? Transformation, inspiration. What are the butterflies doing? They're going up, right? So it's giving me inspiration. But if they were not giving me inspiration, would I keep them? No, because they would be bringing me down. And when we're going into our story and our negotiation of our world, and we're going into how do we do things, we look at the environment around you. Look at what is happening around you. Another thing would be is look at the people you're with, right? That's another way to look at this. Look at the people you're with. Do the people that you're with bring you up, or do they bring you down? Yes, sometimes we have family members we cannot get rid of. Or yes, we have friendships that are just negotiable. But I'm going to tell you, discernment, right? Discernment is a way to do this. And if you discern your way back a little bit, like if you have a friend that's really not being good, right? They're being detrimental. And in that detriment, you slowly just not spend as much time with them. It's not that you say, "Oh, I'm busy all the time," right? But you maybe don't necessarily get into the deep conversations, or you don't necessarily, you go out in a group more than you go out in on one-on-one, right, with a good friend. You go out maybe one time out of 3 months instead of maybe, you go out once a month instead of every week like you used to. It's that toning things down when you have a friend who's not helping you change. Now, there's a lot of people who have addictions or a story, right? Let's say with me, if I was, having my old spending habits, right? And I had this friend that loved to go garage sailing with me. And I wanted to change that story of me. I wanted to change who I was that way. Now, would I keep going garage sailing? Yes, actually, I could go garage sailing, couldn't I? But I would have to look at things a little different. Look at things a little different. Do I need everything I come across? Questions. Ask yourself questions when you want to change your life, rewrite your story. Ask those questions. Do I need to do this? Do I want to do this? Do I desire to do this? Is this something I desire? Is this something that I need? Is this something that I want? Right? Well, this is something that I got that was handed down from my great grandmother to my grandmother to my mom, now to me, right? So it holds a little different energy, right? To me. But if I wasn't using it, what good is it? But I can tell you, I took it out of the cabinet and guess what it's holding? My pendulum, right? It's a perfect little thing for my pendulum right here where I do my readings. I don't use my pendulum all the time, but it wants to be interactive. So, with that, what is it in our story that we have around us that is slowing us down from moving into a new knowing? Now, I can tell you, coming from someone who I don't smoke, I don't drink, I only drink water. I drink a tea, but not very often. I do these different things, but I have never been a pop drinker, never been an alcohol drinker. If I'm not a pop drinker, half the alcohol has pop in it, right? I don't do that kind of stuff. But when I was dealing with my depression after my parents left, they went to the other side. They passed away, lost all my family in 7 years. Um, that coming down into who I am, right? That I had to figure out how to work through my spending habit, my addiction to spending money. I needed a lot of things. Things came to me that I needed, right? But I didn't absolutely need everything. We can manifest a lot. Like my girlfriend had this in her house, this shelf unit in her house. And all of a sudden she said that she was going to get rid of it. And I went, I want it. It was only $50. Not everything needs to be expensive, right? Not everything needs to be expensive. And when we shift this, right, that I called this in, did I need it? Yes, it actually holds a lot of things. And this is my corner, because I do feng shui. This is my corner of in feng shui, this is my relationship corner. So I have a relationship with the angels. I have the relationship or that's a relationship that I with my people, my husband, love, people dancing, my mom's vase, an angel. This is the angel shelf. This is like an altar. Then I have the fairies and the books, and then I have my family albums down below, right? And Tabitha, I'll read your comment in a minute. That, going into this, but in order to change my world, many times I've had to change my life. And so there's been things on that bookshelf that I got a lot of books, spiritual books, when I was just starting this practice, right? I don't need them anymore, so I got rid of them, right? I moved them out. So Tabitha says, I have read I have really tried to be more aware of all my inputs and outputs, my thoughts, what I watch, what I say, what how many environmental reactions. I try to focus on manifesting the future I want to have. You've read my oracle cards, and that is in that moment that you have helped so much. Thank you. You're more than welcome. You know, and that's the thing is that yes, do everything you're doing, Tabitha. You're doing the right thing. Now, if things aren't working all the way, bring them down into your body. How does these things feel to you? Like you were talking about how my inputs and outputs. Yes, your mind can work on your inputs and outputs, but how does your body feel to those inputs and outputs? How does that inner knowing feel about your inputs and outputs? How does how does the manifesting of your future, what are you thinking you want? What are you desiring you want? How do you feel what you want? I would even ask your knees. How does this feel? Ask your feet, because the feet do the walking, right? The mouth does the talking, but the feet do the walking. So, and the knees do the moving, and the hips do the stability, right? So ask these parts of your body on how does it feel to change up your world? Boy, that's hitting some points in me too. Oh, no wonder I'm not doing this and doing that. Because this is partly intuition that's talking today for you, right? I never write down what I'm going to talk about. I never do. I have the input of what I'm going to do the night before, but I don't really necessarily know what I'm going to talk about. So, going into this, that when we go into our story and go into what we want to change, changing the environment, negotiating your thoughts, like I was saying, that when I was going out garage sailing with my friend, what I ended up having to do is when I picked up something, I go into rock shows, right? Do I need another rock? Do I absolutely need another rock? Well, this amber spoke to me. And I heard myself say, well, I can always catch it the next time this person's around. And then I heard something. What happens if he doesn't come around again? Would my life change without this piece of amber? Yes and no, right? Do I really need this amber? No, I didn't. I didn't. And that's the questions to start asking yourself. Here, do I need this interaction? Do I need this thing? Sometimes things come up, like I was at a garage sale and there was a cat scratcher for cheap. $15, I think. It was cheap. It was cheap. And I'm like going, I have a cat that stays outside. My Ava stays outside, right? And I don't really need a cat scratcher. Well, I ended up buying a cat scratcher for $100 because I got a kitten. The universe knew more than I. That was last summer that I went to this garage sale. So the universe knew more than I. But what I wanted to put that cat scratcher in my garage for a year. Not really. Not really. And I didn't know I was going to get a kitten. So sometimes we have to have that stretch and pull, right? We have to feel a little shame and a little guilt. Why didn't I do that? I could have saved money. Could have, should have, right? Oh, well. Oh, well, right? To change our world, we have to go in and shift our patterns. Shifting our patterns. Do I need everything I come across? Do I need to interact with everything that I come across? Do I need to have a payoff from everything I do? And what I mean by a payoff is that there's a reaction in me every time that I interact with something. There's a situation when you are in something that there's an input, right? Some of us get some of us, when we take drugs, we get that endorphins, right? We do something scary, we get those endorphins. We get scared, we do those endorphins, right? We buy things, we get endorphins. So getting into this habit of getting these endorphins about things. So if we have something we want to stop doing, New Year's resolutions, right? Personally, I don't do New Year's resolutions because I know every day I can rewrite my story. It's not the beginning of the year that I need to rewrite my story. It's now, today, in the moment that I'm interacted, when I'm triggered, when I'm doing things, right? And that's what we need to work on. If I can invite this to you, is to look at the moment that you're in and how can you rewrite that moment that you're in? Like if you are triggered by somebody's conversation, if you are triggered by someone's conversation, their tone in their voice, the way that they work, right? The moment that you're in that, the way you can rewrite that story is by how do you interact with that moment at that time. We all have something that triggers in our nervous system, right? We all have something that triggers in our nervous system. Fear and fight, um, reaction of anger, of defense. I'm not going to let you hurt me again, right? We all have something that reacts to that scenario. But that's where people tell us to take a breath before we react, right? Before we react. And going into that non-reaction into interaction. Sometimes the best thing is to say nothing at all, right? The best thing to do sometimes is not to say anything at all. And my dog is by all my cat toys, so I'm kind of like looking over and making sure she's not doing anything, but she's laying down, so she's being a good girl. She's a really good girl. I have great animals. You know that? I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful, and I'm a communicator here. So I've communicated with my animals and they've done a great job. So going into this, that when we're trying to shift up our world and going through things, how can we interact with our world compared to reacting to it? So Veronica, I'm going through that right now at work. I don't do anything. I just walk away. I feel that person is trying to trigger me. Well, we're coming into a new moon in the next day or two. So that energy is there. So a lot of people are being triggered, right? And Veronica, good job. And I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. If you watched my video last night, I had a pretty good migraine yesterday. And it took most of my day to get my brain righted after getting rewired. I call my migraines rewiring moments. And in that rewiring moment, I was not very communicative, and I apologize, Veronica. I know you reached out, and I will reach back to you. Frankly, I don't even remember if I did. It's so bad. When you're in negotiable mode, going forward mode, isn't it amazing how that things just slip away? And I want to rewrite that story, right? So me with names have always been a trigger, dyslexic here, so I want to rewrite that story of not being able to connect with names. Even in my sessions, in my readings, sometimes I get discombobulated when I get a name. I don't trust that whole process. Me, Natasha, doesn't trust that whole process. And so with that when my brain was getting rewired with the migraine, what was I asking? I was asking for it to settle into understanding names a little bit better, right? So use your tools around you. Use these opportunities around you to shift up your reality. Now, in order to change that story, I asked my brain to get rewired to understand that, right? During my migraine. Now I'm going to have to, and I'm going to tell myself I have to, because that's one of my trigger words to help me sometimes to go through that wall, right? That wall of I'm not gonna, that subconscious part of me, that part of me that is in my nervous system that says, you've gotten that wrong before. Why do you want to do that again? Right? Isn't that funny how our nervous system says that? You didn't do it well before. Why do you want to do it again? Ooh, is that my nervous system talking about that? Yes, it is. So I'm going to ask my nervous system here to trust the process of getting names. Ooh, I just felt an energetic shift there, right? So going into this, isn't it funny how that whispering is? And this is just an insight that came to me. I'm doing a course on something, and I'm really finding that the nervous system is, wow, so connected. I've always known that. My dad was a chiropractor, but I didn't have the language. Now I have the language, and I'm trusting that language that's coming to me now. There again is rewriting my story, right? Because it's not just about names. It's about information that's coming in. So it's applying what I know. what I'm being taught and what I'm being shown and what I'm feeling on addition to other people's information. And that's the thing I want you to understand, that everything that I say to you is information that you can take and use to your highest and greater ability. That's what I ask, actually. So that you can be better self yourself. This is not my story to fix you. It's you to negotiate yourself. And when we negotiate ourselves better, wow, doesn't that feel magnificent? Just like me feeling like, oh, there's a part of my nervous system that's starting to wake up, that's been dormant, you know? It's learned to sit, it's quiet for a long time. Just little whispers. Don't do that. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that, right? Don't do that. You'll get damaged again. Don't do that. You'll get yelled at again. Right? That little whisper, right? But if we want to change our world, we have to go past the trigger. Like I think I was saying last week that, it's like we have a tree, like we will have a path that we're trying to get down, right? And there's a tree, a huge tree or a big boulder in the path. That's our trigger. That's our reaction. And if we can walk around that scenario, right? But we have to, do you see how my finger is? I'm looking at it, seeing at it, questioning it, and then going forward, right? We don't need it's not wise to ignore this, but we cannot stop ourselves from going forward in the moment. Move through it. Now, if I didn't trust myself in these shows, what kind of show would it be if I don't have any notes, right? Going into the story of where we're at and what we're doing, if we want to rewrite our story, we have to practice to do different. Practice to do different. Take that trigger, move around it, and keep going, right? Because when we're going forward, yes, look back and see how far we've come. But at the same time, though, keep moving forward. Life is a journey. And it's one page after another page that we can rewrite what we want. So if you were a character in a story, right? If you were a character in a story, and you know how if you're a reader, we read the stories of, Joe went, hi Paula, feels great to be able to move forward. However, slow it may be. Yes, it's not always going to be not always quick. Sometimes we can make leaps and bounds, and then we kind of go, wait a minute, now I'm a slug. Oh, now I leaps and bounds, and now I'm a slug, right? It's that breath in, breath out of life. And right now, we're still coming out of Mercury in retrograde. We're coming out of the last parts of it, right? Coming into a new moon, so new ideas, new knowings. We're going to come into the Chinese year of the dragon. Oh, the dragon, the fire of life, the fire of movement, the fire of who we are. But it's a wood dragon. So it's the wood. How do we breathe in? How do we take the nutrients in? How do we grow? A tree doesn't grow overnight. But I can tell you, a fruit tree can, as soon as it gets its roots in the ground, right? As soon as it can get its roots in the ground, it starts moving forward. It starts producing fruit. And that's the thing about life. Sometimes we get an idea, then we have to let the roots and the ideas and the motivation and the insights and the practice and where we think about what we want to do, we write down what we want to do, we do our inventory, we do our research, we do all these different things, right? And then we get to do it. But that's like a fruit tree. The first year is get it in the ground. The second year is the roots grow. The third year, the top grows, right? So we have to do these in steps. And it could be the first hour is that the insight comes. You plant the idea. The second hour is where you do all your research. And the third hour is, this sounds pretty good. I'm going to take movement on it. I'm going to set a date, right? But remember that the evolution of life is a journey. So going back to your story, if you were a story and you were the lead actor and you had a co-actor with you in the story and you were the person reading, how many times do we say, go for it, dude, go for it. What are you thinking? Change that. Girl, why are you still going out with this dude, right? Be your own reader of your life. Be your own reader of life. See what you would want to do different. If you want to change your life, what would somebody say to you? Now, there's good and bad in everything, right? If we're in a situation that we're not too sure if we need to get out of, like I lived with an alcoholic for many, many years. And I know that some of the people that have been here listening have helped me through a lot of those years. Why am I staying, right? Many a times we don't make movement because there's a part of us that wants to stay. And guess what? I just found out I have 5. Now I've done my astrology and I've seen my astrology many times over, but it finally clicked in. I have 5 planets in Cancer. Home. My husband talks about wanting to move. I'm like, yeah, about moving. No wonder, right? And then all those alcoholic years. I have Cancer in Mars, the god of war. I have home, stability, mother, love, kindness, emotions. No wonder how I know how to deal with my emotions. I have so many planets in water, it's not even funny. I get emotions. I live them. I live them. I live them. And what's funny is that yesterday when I had my migraine, I let my dog out to go play with her friend, and then there was a dog barking, and I kind of used some swear words. And anybody who knows me says they know I don't use a lot of swear words, right? She goes, "What? The angel swears?" Yes, but rewriting our story, rewriting our story. Start looking at your life with a little bit more outside observation. Sometimes we get such tunnel vision of expectations, like I said at the beginning. Tunnel vision, right? Of those knowings. We want things to be a certain way. You know, we can have desires. We can have manifestation. We can have what we want. But there is a statement that says this or something better because we do not all know what's best for us, right? Like there was a manifesting thing on Instagram that I saw about $888. And I said $888 and many, many more, right? Because I believe in abundance. But what did I do? I thought it. I thought I felt it, but I didn't interact with it. I didn't interact with it. And that's the thing that if we can work in life and we can interact with that emotion and that knowing and that being, that we can come into a better self. And we never know what that is. Because the future is the future. But we have a chance to get what we want right now. This is a doorway right now. I was I watched a lot of little videos, and things are true, things aren't true. I take truth as it is with a grain of salt, right? Everybody has a truth. What am I going to discern with it? But there was a statement that rang true, that there's an alignment of our solar system that right now is greater, and we will not see it again in our lifetime. So what are we going to do about it? Yes, it's stirring up a lot of pots. Like you said, Veronica, that you're getting triggered by a coworker, right? But what are you going to do with it then different? And, there was an opportunity that I had to really, in a session, that there was someone who basically didn't have kind words for me, right? Interesting. When I said that, my jaw locked up. I'll have to look at that, right? It popped. I'll have to look at that. What does that mean? Well, my jaw talks, right? So, but what I did when I walked out, my husband was amazed because I was not speaking bad of her. I was sending her love and kindness, right? So, going into this story about how do we rewrite this, thinking of the kindness and the love and the tough love that we have and the boundaries that we have, we got to have those kind and tough love boundaries for ourselves. Be willing if we want to stop a spending addiction, we have to negotiate our world differently. If we want to spend our monies differently, we have to negotiate our world differently, and it's called tough love. No shame, no pains, right? Decide. And this is the thing that I do. I'm trying to work on my sugar addiction. My body is not liking the sugar that I'm taking in my body. So what I'm doing is I'm looking forward into my future and saying, how does my body feel after I do this? So ask the question, whatever you're doing that you want to change up, how does your body feel an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 or a day later? How does your pocketbook feel after you go spend money? How does your liver feel after you do a night of drinking or not some others or some other stuff, right? How do we feel? Our emotions are going to get triggered when we're doing this. Deep emotions, guilt, shame, regret, um, uh, dislike, sometimes hate. There's many more that I can't even name at this time, right? That going into this, how do we negotiate this world? Love yourself through it. Now, this is one thing that I do when I go to bed at night is I say 3 things or 4 things or 5 things that I'm grateful for that day. And sometimes I'm grateful for the ability to see that I could do something differently. Or I'm grateful for the idea that life stopped me from doing something that I felt like I didn't want to do, right? Like I went in the grocery store. What did I do? I didn't buy the little cupcakes. I didn't buy donuts. I didn't buy bread. I bought a box of pudding. The box of pudding is something that I can put on the shelf for 6 months to a year, right? When it feels like my body can handle it. When we negotiate our world differently and want to rewrite our story, we have to change the interactions of what the mind, the body, and the emotions want to do. Think about things. Do things differently. It's not always going to be easy in the triggered moments, right? Not always going to be easy in the triggered moments. If we want to react differently to a conversation. And I'm going to tell you, like Veronica dealing with this coworker, that many a times people want a reaction. And if they're not getting reactions from any place else in their life and they've had the pattern of getting reactions in their life and they're not always getting them in one place, so they're going to find another place to get that reaction. So I would assist you in understanding that maybe, this person that's wanting to have you react, that she's not getting reactions from the normal places anymore. Ain't that an insight? We always don't know the story behind things, right? We don't always. But what we can do is we can be our better self. And have loving kindness. So like when you walk away from this person, send them love, right? I'm asking for divine healing on this. You can also say with boundaries, I'm not the person you think I can be for you. I'm not going to be your punching bag. I'm not going to be your prickle, your pincushion, right? I'm not. I'm done with that. I'm free from that journey. I'm free from being your pincushion. I'm free from being your go-to to be reactionary, right? And that's the thing with the subconscious. The subconscious, which is part of the mind, the subconscious does not hear negatives. I do not want to. What it's actually hearing is, I want to. So think about, I am free from it. I'm done with, right? Say the words of done and then go in and receive. So this new moon is a great time to be done with something and to receive something. Rewrite those contracts if you need to. Great time to do it. And when we're moving forward, bless yourself with love because it can make a difference. I'm so grateful I walked through the grocery store and I only bought one small thing that was not on the list. Right? I went garage selling and I only bought one thing instead of the 15 things that were talking to me. Right? It's time to believe in you. And it's time for you to know that this is a great time to change your world up. One step at a time. 1 second at a time. One page turn at a time. One observation at a time. One trigger at a time. One interaction at a time. You're a blessing. And it's time to believe it. Ask for more than what you want. Feel more than what you want. And understand more than what you want. Because of the fact that now's the time to do it. And at that, I'm Natasha Venter at angelicclarifications.com if you're looking for a session. I'm also here to help you regularly at my Everyday with an Angel podcast shorts. Does anybody want a card reading? If you do want a card reading, please put in, let's see, segueing in. So if you would like a card, let's see, most of you who've been watching me know what cards I have. But I'm going to do the Ascendant Masters. The Ascendant Masters. I'm also going to do Gentle Creatures. Yes, please. Okay, so I'm going to do Gentle Creatures. And Gentle Creatures are these guys. I love these guys. They just have great messages and they wanted to come out today. So Tabitha, if you can, and if you're on Instagram, just say yes and what kind you want. So I'm going to do Ascendant Masters. And which one would you like, Tabitha? Would you like Gentle Creatures? Or would you like Ascendant Masters? Anybody else want a card reading? The Masters. I was kind of thinking that, but I wanted to make sure. Okay, so Tabitha, what you do is you kind of put it out there for the energy. What is the question you want? You don't have to say it here. And then the cards and I pick up on that energy. It's kind of like sending a text. It goes out in the waves. So, and then I ask for the greater good to come for you. So Tabitha, thank you. Okay, I see that some other people put in, so I'm going to stay in the moment of Tabitha. This is a card for Tabitha. So what card wants to come out and be the message that Tabitha needs from the Ascendant Masters? Okay, so we're going to go with this one. Yes. Yes. Isn't that a beautiful picture of Ganesh? I love Ganesh. I just love, that's why these cards came to me with Ganesh. Because he's just so so amazing. So yes, okay, so I will read the card for you. And Tabitha, I'm getting off the center string. Now, Ganesh is one who breaks down old patterns. What a gift for him to come in on this day. Breaking down old patterns, writing new story, right? But saying yes, when you say yes, ask the question and not a mind answer yes. This is a whole body yes. So if you are going to want to do anything, that um, your being is going to be a better self, right? So moving forward, okay, moving forward. So Ganesh. I'm not going to be doing these cards this time. I've not awoken them to me, and so I'm not going to honor you. I don't feel like I can honor a true reading that way. And they're bigger cards. They're bigger cards, so a little bit more difficult for me to shuffle. So I just need to play with them a little bit. Okay. So yes. So Ganesh. So that would be in the back of the book. Yes. But I'm looking at what Ganesh does here. And Ganesh in this picture has two hands up, one holding a vase of something, and the other one is, looks like a flower. And so he's giving gifts here. So, Ganesh, all the doorways are, this is what the book says here, Tabitha. Okay. All the doorways are open for you, and the pathways is clear. Any previous obstacle have been removed. Keep positive mindset about the situation to ensure the best possible outcome. Additional meanings. The answer to your question is yes. This is a good time to make moves or changes. Your prayers have been heard and are being answered. Your positive support for this situation. Keep the faith. Ganesh is a Hindu elephant-headed overcomer of obstacles who clears your path of any blocks. Call upon Ganesh at the opening of any ceremony or new project to ensure a smooth start and a steady progress. He's also very supportive of writers and helps anyone who is in a bind. So Ganesh is a good one. Is a good one for you. Okay, so Paula, you were the next one. Did you say which one you wanted to do, Paula? But I always know that you're one who lets me pick. So I'm gonna just pick for you, Paula. The gentle creatures are calling for you for Paula, and then let's see. Then I'm gonna do Veronica, and then I will do. And I am so sorry. I do not know how to pronounce your name, but I have the intention of knowing who you are. So I do not want to dishonor you. So Ra. So sorry. See, that's that part of me that I'm working on. Okay, so so Paula, this is for you. What is the intention that you would like an answer to, or a question you would like an answer to? Gentle creatures of the universe of love, what is the message that would be best for Paula at this time? Please let me know which card is for your better self. Woo! Quest. Quest is your card. Boy, look at that. Isn't that a cute picture? He looks so intent with the moon behind him. And what's on his pack? He's got a lot of baggage, it seems like, and just a little bit of light. Okay, so let me get the card here for Quest. PQ. Quest. So this is what Quest says, Paula. And remembering that any card can be a reading for anybody. So if you want to please look into if any of this information can sit well with you too, because I know that any card can be meant for anybody, but it's pulled for Paula, but yet it could be pulled for you too. So Quest. Under the glow of a full scorpion moon, our gentle creature has undertaken their own quest. They have the lamp with the phoenix feather to light the way, while their belt carries potions of healing. The dagger is made for helping others rather than causing them harm. The mask is a symbol for their work as a guide, as a shaman, but they are not done. Even though they have all the tools of the healer, there are always another level to attain. They have been taught by their own teacher creature that one must always learn more. So this creature has set themselves a task. They are off to see what the world wants them to learn. Perhaps you can try this as well. Rather than asking to learn a specific thing, you might pose the question, what does the universe want me to know today? Oh, isn't that a way to work? What does the universe want me to know today? Wow. It can be a powerful thing to let that float out as you let your heart loose to hear the answer that is awaiting you. The key here is not to force the response. Your job, like the guide's job, is just to follow the call. So with that, yes, have the destination you want. Go forward in where you're going to go. Do what you're called to do, but yet at the same time, though, remember that we are at the path of the universe. But if we let it teach us, put things in front of us, like going back to the garage sale, am I meant to get this? What is this here to teach me? What am I supposed to learn from this? I'm always in that mode. May you be too, right? So Quest. That's a good one for all of us, isn't it? So thank you, Paula, for doing that. So let's see who else. So Veronica, you said, let's see, you were sending the Ascendant Masters, right? Okay, so this is for you, Veronica, and then it will be you, Rhonda. Okay, here we go. This is for you, Veronica. Or did I already do you, Veronica? I think I already did you. Didn't I? Yeah. I love that. That's where you're headed. Okay, so Veronica, here you go. Oh, thank you, Veronica. You know, this I'm in my intuition, right? And I'm getting these answers. At the same time, having my migraine last night really, really discombobulated me. All day, everybody was like, "Are you all right? Are you okay?" Because I wasn't as grounded as what I normally am. So I apologize. That was my humanness that was stepping in there. Okay, so this is for you, Veronica. Let me realign this. That was weird. I apologize. There we go. I had something that popped up on my screen and it discombobulated the show. I apologize. Okay. There we go. Okay, Veronica, here it comes. And this card right here, my eyes went to. Positive change. Oh, this is a good one. And this is Pavarotti. Pavarotti. What a powerful being with you. Call her in, my dear, to help you through what you're going through. So, positive change. Positive change. You're stepping into your power, girl. It could be anybody who steps into their empowerment here, what they feel, what they know. Oh my gosh. So, positive change. I just went to it. Ain't that a calling? I opened the book right up to this card, right? So if that isn't a confirmation, I pulled the right card for you. Okay, so your likes and dislikes have changed, and you've outgrown situations that once appealed to you. These are positive developments, signaling your spiritual growth. Some of these situations are blessings in disguise, as they're pushing you to make necessarily and positive changes. You may feel pushed beyond your comfort zone as multiple areas of your life shift and flux. Yet, the universe always stands steady to support you with whatever you ask for. Let go and enjoy this ride because it truly is for the best. Additional meanings of this card. Let go of procrastination and perfectionism. Break your major goals into baby steps and take one step at a time. Since Pavarotti is a goddess of mountains, this could be a message to retreat or move to the mountains. Revamp your schedule so that you devote regular time to your priorities. Be assertive in saying no to anything that diverts you from your path. Pavarotti is the Hindu goddess of mountains, marriage, and households. So look her up and see where she can help you out, my dear. Oh my gosh, that is a gift. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to tap into you. This is for Ra for short. I apologize. Is there anybody on Instagram looking for a card reading? So I'm going to do Ascendant Masters for you, Ra, if you're still here. Okay, so what I want you to do is, you're more than welcome. Can you put out the thoughts of what you would like to have answered, or any intentions that you have in your life that you would like some clarity on? go. There's the connection rod. Thank you. Okay, here it's coming. Okay, so I am focusing on this card right here. Choose peace. Choose peace. And this is Parma. Oh, me and long names. I apologize. Parmamasa Yogananda. Parmamasa Yogananda. Let me try to get out. There we go. Choose peace. Okay. Going up to choose. Choose peace. Okay, this card here. In this situation, choose the path of peace. Choose the path of peace. As you think about your previous options and possible outcomes, which brings a greater feeling of peace to your body and mind. This is your answer. So, additional meaning to this card. Listen to your heart's truth, not your mind's truth, but your heart's truth. There is always a peaceful alternative to conflict. Your peacefulness everts your energy. Your peacefulness elevates your energy and helps you manifest your desire. Meditate and do your yoga in the way of attending this inner peace. Yogananda is a beloved author of yogi who popularized yoga and meditation. So that's the one thing that that I go to when I need to set up boundaries. Instead of setting up brick boundaries, I set up tough love boundaries. It's not a negative thing or a hurtful thing. It's actually what is our intention. So this is one of those things that when we're looking at changing our world and changing situations or in situations, that many times we lose the intention that we need to do. And this is one thing, Ra, that's coming to me for you, is that look into the intention of what you're negotiating with. What is the backing of that intention? And the word greed is coming in. So either greed is on the other situation or on you. And so looking at where the greed is and asking for divine healing on this. I love that statement that was given to me by my guides. I'm asking for divine healing on this. And a lot of times when we ask for divine healing on this, choosing peace can come up. It doesn't mean that we have to be walked on or kicked around or anything like that. That could be tough love. But have boundaries, because discernment, checking in with intention, and checking in with the purpose, many times we can kind of discern around, be the snake that slithers around a situation or the obstacle, or be the monkey that goes through the trees, or be the tiger that goes through the jungle, right? Choosing peace doesn't always mean that we are the walk-on, but we can find a way. Look into those answers and check in with those animals and see how they negotiate. Maybe that might help. Well, blessings to you, everyone. If you're looking for an appointment or help with this, please angelicclarifications.com. I would love to assist you on your life's journey. Yogananda is perfect. Thank you. You're more than welcome. Like I said, the world is asking for peace, but we also have to stand up straight and desire what we want, right? But it's about our intentions. If you're looking for podcasts, this podcast, and you know somebody who likes to listen to podcasts, Every Day with an Angel podcast. Every Day with an Angel is shorts is on my YouTube channel, and Mantra Monday. I do Mantra Monday also. I hope that everything that I do is helpful in the life's journey of you, because that is my intention. is to help give some insights of truths to help you discern your own truth. My love is with you, and remember, you are a miracle, and this is a great time. A great time. You have a blank page. We have a new moon coming up. Great time to write a new story. What do you want to manifest? Not here, not here, here. Call it in. Your body knows, but check in with the triggers. Check in with the whys. Why nots? Who's telling you why not? It's not always you. Sometimes it's a great grandfather, right? Blessings on this journey. Bye now. Stop. End video. Thank you very much for listening. Blessings be to you.